This is Arise News. You're watching the morning show with me, Biola Labi. My first interview is with Robert Giles, the head of retail banking business at Diamond Bank. Robert is responsible for the mobile-first strategy in the bank's retail business, which has seen a migration from physical to digital, with almost 85% of all transactions carried out digitally. Through technology innovation, Diamond Bank has successfully enhanced financial inclusion across Nigeria and opened 5 million full bank accounts instantly and remotely. Let's take a listen to what he had to say in my sit-down with him a few days ago. I wanted to start by asking you about Diamond Bank and Tech Fest. You guys were involved in it. I couldn't really figure out if you guys were going to charge people to come, if it was going to be something that Diamond Bank felt that it was going to be their contribution. Is it CSR? Tell me, why is Tech Fest and Diamond Bank interlinked, and what does it mean for the bank?
Well, thanks, Biola. Thanks. It's great to be here. Tech Fest, I guess I put the T-shirt on this morning.
You did come to sell.
It was just the first T-shirt in the box. But,
sure.
So Tech Fest was held a couple of weeks ago at the Landmark Event Centre, and it was the first of its kind in Nigeria. You see a lot of sponsored events around tech, where you have one anchor organiser and then corporate sponsor that event. And we decided that we needed to do something new. And what the idea of Tech Fest was to bring the SMEs access to the large anchors in tech. So we had Microsoft, Diamond Bank, MTN, Deloitte, and other partners come on board to really showcase how small businesses can access big tech to either get access to new markets, to improve their own business, and eventually to make small business more successful in the country.
Why was this important to Diamond Bank to do, and why was it important to do now?
So SME is core to Diamond Bank's strategy. We have about 500,000 SMEs who bank with us. And I think when you talk to SMEs, they need access to three things: access to finance, and that's something that traditionally people come to banks for. Access to advisory, and that's really access to additional information on how to improve a business, and then access to markets. And TechFest provides access to all of those. So at TechFest, we had access to financial services. We had a number of different startups demoing their business initiative. They competed on a central stage.
Oh, wow.
And went away with grants for financial assistance, but also advisory assistance. And all throughout the two-day event that was held, the SMEs got access to different people working in different industries that share some of the same problems. So it was a great way of finding out more about how tech can help businesses. And then access to markets, it was a great place to do business as well.
So it's like a one big sort of a tech hackathon or something for small businesses.
Yeah, it was. It was a fun event as well. So we had lots of entertainment there. There was lots of music. There was lots of demos, and we were really showcasing a lot of the new exciting innovation that's happening in tech. So there was augmented reality, virtual reality. We demonstrated our new chatbot, which is bringing AI and robotics into banking. So it was a really fun event. It was a natural event, and I think. Whilst we had formal showcases with people sharing their experience, there was a lot of networking done. We had over 17,000 people register for Tech Fest, so it was immense.
And just so that, just so people at home that are watching that are now thinking about Tech Fest, what do you want them to know? And is Tech Fest going to be something you do every year or a couple of times a year? Or is it just a one-time thing, which is okay as well?
So Tech Fest was really the start of a new platform to help SMEs get access to advisory, get access to markets, and then access to capital as well. So it's created a community. You can still go and download the Tech Fest app.
Okay.
You can follow us on social media platforms. And we're keeping this platform alive because the SMEs at the event really told us this was something new, it was something helpful. A lot of people have generated new businesses or thought about doing their business in a different and more efficient way. And we're definitely going to be back next year.
Wow. So one of the things you said in your answer was really about your work with SMEs. and also the way the bank is really focused on helping SMEs develop. But you haven't always been an SME bank. You've always been sort of a corporate bank.
What has it been like sort of transitioning into an SME bank and other banks?
Well, we've been on a great journey. I think Diamond Bank is about 27 years old, and in the first 25 years, we got 5 million customers through traditional banking activities. That's customers going to a branch and opening an account. And then in the last 2 years, we've put another 5 million customers on the books, just leveraging technology. And I think that it's technology that has enabled banks now to reach much further down the pyramid and to profitably and effectively serve the mass market. So technology has enabled us to reach new markets. We've always been focused on SMEs, but SMEs traditionally went up to a large anchor corporate.
Yes.
And now,
SMEs were bigger then.
Yes.
Now there's smaller SMEs, if you look at the landscape in Nigeria.
It's more diverse, and I think what you traditionally see is a large anchor corporate and then SMEs that support that anchor corporate.
Well, I guess the way people were defining SMEs before was more oil and gas, and I think today there's a lot of diversity. So there's media, there's fashion, there's agriculture. So the way SMEs are changing actually has changed the way you're doing business.
Absolutely. Our main focus areas in SME at the moment, education and agriculture, and they're areas that are really growing. And all of these, health tech, edutech, and agri-tech are areas that are growing and helping improve the landscape in Nigeria for SMEs, but also I think SMEs and business innovation that provides solutions to real problems, and real problems being feeding people, keeping people healthy, and educating for a better future. There's no better place to bank, and it actually makes it more interesting to work in a bank that's focusing on these areas.
So one of the things, as you speak about SMEs, one of the things that we've also seen you do is development of actual business owners with your BET program. Yeah. Tell people at home how they can be part of the BET program. What was the motivation for the BET program, and what would you guys like to see happen with that program?
Thanks. BET's been running for 7 years now.
That long?
So it's been a long program. We've been committed to it for a long time. It's a capacity building program. As you said, SMEs need access to not only finance but also advisory. And so SMEs pitch to become a part of BET, and then go on an intensive 3-month program through Lagos Business School and the Pan Atlantic University, where we help the SMEs really refine their business plan, protect their business as well. So things like business registration and trademark registration, things that often small businesses forget at the beginning of the journey, and they become important at scale. And then how to manage your business as you grow and scale. And I think SMEs in Nigeria can benefit from that structure that will help grow beyond a very small business with 1 or 2 people. So that the BET program provides that capacity building and takes a number of entrepreneurs through a journey to be able to scale and improve their business. And at the end of it, we have a big event announcing the winners. I think what's unique about BET this year is that we have recorded the journey from start to finish, right? Sure. From the applications of 35,000 people applied online to be part of BET, and then the selection process as we go down to the final 50 and then the final 15. And what we're going to do is make all of that videoed material, whether that's the pitch or whether that's the classroom learning, so that any SME, whether you bank with Diamond Bank or not, can get access to that. Wow. Because information is something that really should be freely available and accessible, and we will all benefit from that.
So one of the reasons why we really wanted to have you on the show was because I saw you speaking, I saw you and your CEO speak at an event where you really talked about technology and the use of technology. And in my personal experience of using your application, I really enjoyed the fact that I think it's one of the few applications that first came out, and I think in the second iteration you didn't need a user-generated code to use it. And I wanted to talk about sort of your foray into technology and really trying to build a platform that is intuitive into the way people bank and into what you need to do. Because when you're trying to really transfer money, you need something that's quick and intuitive, and you don't sort of have to go to too many menu pages.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to get too tech. I don't want people to like, okay, now I need to look at my phone. But I think that what I loved about it was the mobile mobility of it.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about sort of that process and how that happened in-house. Like, what is the culture that you have in-house that makes you sort of think from a consumer perspective or a user?
Well, I think in banking recently has moved from a place that you go to something that you do. That's been the first phase of digitization of banking. We're now moving into a phase that it's not just something you do, it becomes a little bit less visible. And we're trying to remove the friction in banking so that you don't want to pay for your shopping. You want your shopping. You don't want to pay for your flight. You just want to go somewhere. And I think that's our philosophy is going beyond banking to connect people and connect markets to just do what they want to do. And if we think about the mobile app journey, you have to create a strong internal digital culture that's built around human-centered design and ease of use. And so we really started internally at Diamond Bank, and I think the mobile app started about 6 years ago, and the first obstacle to overcome is your workforce, yourself. You start from within. So we had a strong transformation program led by Uzoma, our CEO. So it was very much led from the top, where we eliminated old-style banking for our staff. So we stopped issuing checks. We stopped serving our own staff in the banking hall. Bankers were often very privileged that they didn't experience the day-to-day banking challenges that customers do, because it's very accessible to them by default because they work in a bank. So removing that unnecessary convenience that bankers had and start walking in the customer's shoes was the first part of that journey. So we developed the mobile app around the user experience. We applied human-centered design to that mobile app, and we've released and re-released the app about 15 times now, and we'll continue to do that. So it's a long journey of internal and external.
And how often does the app update? I mean, how often? I mean, I know as a consumer, we don't see that on a daily day basis, but I mean, as someone that is constantly striving to improve, how often is that happening? And what type of innovation process do you have inside the bank?
So we have innovation throughout our mobile app teams, but we also co-create with customers. And I think some of our best solutions have been developed when we sit down with customers, non-customers, and so you don't know what you don't know. So it's always good to hear what doesn't work for people and why people don't work with you, so that you can continue to improve. The mobile app releases with every new innovation that comes out. So that might be a security innovation that's completely invisible to the user, or it may be a new way of working with us. So we recently updated the app to include a loyalty solution, so that loyalty schemes don't work very well when they stand on their own. Where do customers go to do business with you? They go to their app. So by embedding it on the app, you make it more convenient, you make it in the hands of the customer, and you're really showing the customer how they can get loyalty for every interaction they do with you. So innovation is internal, but also external, and we co-create with our customers and the wider community.
So in the past few years, there's been a huge focus on really developing the retail banking sector in Nigeria and really becoming a leader in that sector. What are some of the things that, I mean, you have seen? I mean, you've been in and out of Nigeria. So just so you know, you've been in and out of Nigeria for for like over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Working in different banks. What are some of the things that you feel has differentiated the work you're doing at Diamond Bank today when it comes to retail banking, when it comes to customer acquisition, when it comes to customer retention? What are the things that you feel that have been key to the growth of this bank and that's making it a leading bank in retail?
So in Nigeria, I've only worked for Diamond Bank, so
but Africa,
that's one
right?
thing. Africa, I've worked.
And you've been in banking, so you were at Barclays, then Standard Bank in Africa, and now Diamond Bank.
So I think I've seen Diamond Bank from the outside and also from the inside. And what's unique about our bank is the strong internal culture. It's led from the top of the bank, but it's also led from the bottom. So we have a very open culture. There's an open door policy within the bank. Our colleagues are very quick to tell us when things are not going right, and that's a great culture to have, because a culture that is always reinforcing what's working and not pointing out what our customers are saying is something that's very important for us. So I think at Diamond Bank we have a strong focus on technology. We have a strong focus on eliminating waste. So you won't find much paper when you go into Diamond Bank. Paper is not only bad for the environment, it's really bad for data collection. And we're in the business of data. We don't just keep cash safe, we keep data safe. So you'll find that there's a culture around retail that's fun. It's open. When I first came to Nigeria, I had to wear a suit. And when I first started banking more than 15 years ago, I didn't wear a suit. And I think that was a real shock for me.
And you're not wearing a suit today?
We don't wear a suit. I can't remember the last time I wore a suit in the office.
And that's really that's a different culture of banking today. I mean, when I came to Nigeria, I was surprised how many people wore suits to work. And I mean, for you to have made that journey, you're now working with consumers as a consumer bank, as a retail bank. When you look at retail banking and you look at the fact that there's still a lot of financial exclusion in Nigeria, so you look at the fact that there's still about, give or take, 60 million people that are unbanked, there are SMEs that are not banked. How do you see technology solving that problem going forward?
So technology is really helping to solve that problem today. And if you look at the IFINA report of the unbanked population in Nigeria, the gap has been closed by people opening bank accounts, not other financial services, but everyday bank accounts. You
think bank accounts are still going to be the best way to close that gap, or is it just going to be almost a free-for-all in the fintech space?
I think that fintechs and banks will work together. The difference between a wallet and the bank account, now that technology enables you to open it instantly, is actually very little. What is the difference? You can, with Diamond Bank and MTN, so that's two collaborators, you can open a bank account by dialing *7110# and you have an instant bank account. You can walk to an agent in a marketplace and get an instant bank account. So a lot of that friction of I had to go to a branch and provide lots of paper documentation and go through a long process has been eliminated. And I think, you know, Nigeria has a very progressive environment for KYC. The central bank has 3 tiers of KYC, which allows the most vulnerable to get into the financial system very quickly and with a less onerous process, but still being secure. So I think we're in a period where mobile penetration is extremely high. There's over 100 million phone accounts that are operating today. The cell phone coverage in Nigeria is amazing. Yes. So you can access basic data services or USSD services anywhere in the country, and that's really helping to bring more people into the financial system. And I think a few months ago you saw the body of banks announce the launch of a shared agent network.
Yes,
we're going to bring 500,000 agents into the most open places that exist where there are no
markets
banks.
And stuff like that.
The markets, and also in rural areas. So in rural areas, you may not find a bank, but you will find somebody who's working in a store that's a trusted location within that community that can also offer banking services.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming. Before we leave, I have one last question for you, and that's how do you see AI, robotics, technology sort of, if I'm on Mars, will I still be able to access my account? How do you see the future of banking?
So if you're on Mars where you still access your account, I think that the great thing about banking today is you can access it all over the world. So you can have your Diamond Bank account and access it from 180 countries. Can you access it on Mars? I guess it depends on how good the satellite data is going to be. I think, you know, back to the immediate future, we're already starting to see AI and robotics in banking. We're seeing robotics take over the most basic operations, things that used to be heavily paper intensive, really boring for people to do, and could take 20 people several days to do, can be done within minutes using basic robotics now. That already exists. And then artificial intelligence, things like our chatbot Ada. Ada launched a couple of months ago, and she's already serving people 24/7 a day. So she provides a natural language experience that's available at any time on any device. And obviously, unlike one agent who can serve you for a defined period of time, she can serve millions of customers at the same time. So I think we're going to see AI improve operations. What that will mean is that the operation will be more efficient and also more consistent. You have less error rates introduced. And we're going to see artificial intelligence help banking be more relevant to you. And as your own needs and wants are better understood, the services will be personalized to you. So I think we're going to see not space-age tech of accessing from the moon, but things that are relevant to the consumer. And for fintechs, I mean, fintechs have a really important role to play in the ecosystem. Banks are opening up their APIs to allow people to develop innovative solutions that solve real-world problems, and the bank provides the trust in that relationship. So I think we're going to see a lot more collaboration with fintechs.
Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Viola. It's been great.
Pleasure.
Thank you for that. It's now time for a short break on the morning show. When we return, I'll be speaking to Taya Ovieso about mobile money payments and the mobile and digital banking sector. Do stay tuned.